Hey folks, and welcome back to another Weaver's Woodshop. This week I will be making a United States and Puerto Rico combination decorative flag. What I'm doing here is I am first squaring up the end of my 1x6 board, and then I will be marking out 37 inches and cutting about 4 strips to 37 inches. That's what you see me doing there, is making that first mark to 37 inches. And then now you see me lining it up to the blade on the miter saw at 37 inches and going ahead and cutting it. And what I do when I have multiple repeated cuts like that is I take that first piece and I flush it up at the end, which is what you see me doing with my left hand there. I'm flushing it up, making sure they're even over at the end. And I go ahead and I butt it up to the blade of the miter saw, and I go ahead and I make that cut, because then you know that you've got each cut is identical and one's not just a little bit off, a little bit long, a little bit short, and everything's exactly the same. I know you can't really see because I'm kind of in the way there. That's my fault. And now what I'm doing is, if you notice, I've got that 4-foot level running the length of the board and up against my fence on the table saw. That way I know that that board is running straight along the fence of the table saw. So I am joining the edge of the 1x6, the 37 inch long 1x6. I'm getting that perfectly straight edge. I'll end up doing that to both sides of all of those pieces of the 1x6 that I just cut at 37 inches. So I'm sure to get a straight edge on both sides, so when I join them up and I start gluing them together, everything will be hunky-dory and I won't have any issues with gaps. So now that I have that straight edge on both sides of that 1x6, I'm going ahead and I'm setting that fence to 1.25 inches, because now I'm going to rip those 37 inch pieces down to 1.25 inches, which is what I'm doing here. I'm ripping them down to 1.25 inches to get my 13 pieces, my 13 stripes. I'm going to end up painting red, white, and blue. And now I have 13 stripes cut at 37 inches. So now I'm laying them out, and I'm going to end up squeezing them together a little bit so I can see what I got, because I've never done one of these combination flags like this before. So I need to lay everything out. There I am laying a template down for the star union, and you'll see me run a straight edge, my 4-foot level across from corner to corner, so I can see where the triangle is going to be. And there I am measuring a center point, and I'll draw the center line down to where the triangle is going to meet up, and I'm going to trace everything out. That way when I lay my tape down for where all the paint goes, hopefully that's going to help me out and do a good job painting. So that's exactly what I'm doing here. Is I just drew part of the triangle out. I'm tracing the union there. Again, this is only to help for painting, to where I know what's what. And now I just finished putting all the tape down for the union and for the Puerto Rico triangle. And now what I'm using is I'm using a roller for a screen spline, where it helps push the spline in to hold screen on like a screen in porch. And I'm just helping push it down there to where hopefully I don't get any bleed through when I paint the blue down. So that's what I'm doing here. And so now that I've got some paint on it, or I'm finishing up the paint on the first coat, I want to go ahead and put 2 coats on it though. And between each coat, however many I end up putting on, whether it's 2 coats or 20 coats, I want to get a light sanding between each coat. And so I always go with 220 between each coat, and that typically gives me good adhesion between each coat, and it helps give you a good smooth finish as well. So that's what I'm doing here, is I'm just giving it a light sanding. If there's any imperfections, if I got any bubbles, if I got any bugs that may have landed in it, this will typically get that out and help you get a good smooth finish in that next coat as well. And a super important thing that probably doesn't get talked about enough, but prepping your area before you put paint on, which is what I'm doing here. I just sanded it with that 220. You saw me blow it off. You didn't see any of the other prep that I did between coats, but you have to wipe it down. If it's still dirty, you may even want to hit it with some alcohol. You don't want to do anything like mineral spirits, oil or something like that. But you can use alcohol or maybe a little bit of thinner or something like that just to clean it before you put any more paint on it. But you definitely got to get the area that you're putting paint on, you got to get it clean. And now here's when you're going to find out how much time you spent in prepping the area to paint, or this is where you're going to find out, was it worth it to use that spline tool to push down the edges of the tape, or how good of a job you did or didn't do in taping, and if you missed an area or not when you go pulling tape off. So here I am. It's looking like I got pretty clean lines for the most part, so I'm good with the tape job and the prep job that I did. Now here I am mixing up some red paint, ready to put some red on it, right? I'm mixing it up, stirring it up. And then while I'm stirring it up, I'm thinking, man, how am I going to keep this straight? What gets red, what gets white? Because I got 2 different flags going here. I haven't marked anything. So I hurry up and I go ahead and I mark the pieces that get white on it. I just put some tape on it and say, all right, the pieces with tape on it, you guys are all white, and then the ones that don't have tape on it, you guys are all red. And I got a whole little system worked out. So now here we go with the red paint. Now you guys may be wondering, since I've got the different 2 flags coming together, what's going on with the lines of the different reds and whites. Well, I have kind of mapped out in pencil where the different reds and whites are going. So it's not an exact line, and you can kind of see on that second red stripe there that I stopped. And again, it's not exact. It's not anything that I've got to have an exact straight line for. And you'll see why at the end when I get that burnt black line going through there. You'll see what I was going for. And now we've switched over to white, and some of the stripes are 100% red. So I've moved them out of the way just so there's no mistakes and no oopses where I accidentally put a drop of white on the red or something like that. So yeah, here I am painting some white. Now that I got everything all painted, I had to lay it back together, and I guess I just had a brain fart. Here I am trying to figure it out. But you can even look at the blue and tell I didn't lay it together right, and I don't know which eye I was using, my blind eye or my blind eye. But I certainly wasn't looking at the whole thing here, so instead of looking at the whole thing, I just said, oops, you painted the wrong thing, the wrong color, so I taped it off, and I painted over some red that was supposed to be red, but I painted over it white. And about the time I was about halfway through, it looks like I finally figured it out, and I said, well, I'll let you see the reaction here on what I said. It should be any minute now, where I said, "Oh, you dummy! You had it right all along. You just put it in the wrong place." But by now, I just went with it, and I went ahead and painted it, and had to kind of repaint a couple of them. But it is what it is, right? If that's the worst thing that ever happens, I'll be all right. Now I've pulled off some tape and doing a little bit of touch up, and now I stand back and it looks like I stroke my beard and say, wonder how this thing looks now. And, well, I guess I think it looks all right, because then I go ahead forward with the glue and we start the glue up process. Now that we've put glue on all the different strips, we're going ahead, and I've got just a little piece of scrap wood that I use there, and I spread it out, and now I'm flipping all the pieces over end to end. And once I get them all flipped over and pretty much tucked together, I go ahead and I get all the clamps. These are just the cheap Harbor Freight 60-inch clamps, and I got scrap pieces of wood on each end, and I go back and forth and try to get them all tight, from one clamp to the next and back and forth, and not get any one clamp tighter than the next, and just work it back and forth and back and forth. And now here I am cleaning up any squeeze out that I can. And right there, I'm just using a level on the end, trying to keep that end as flush as I can. I don't have it super tight yet. And now I'm doing the same thing over here. But now you can see I put some scrap wood between the levels on both the top and the bottom, trying to keep everything flat on both ends. And now I'm taking it out of the clamps. And if you like this kind of stuff, if you do me a favor and go on ahead and hit that like and subscribe, I'd appreciate it. So now what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to burn. If you know me, you know I like to burn anything I can. Anytime I've looked at any of these combination flags, again, this is my first time doing a combination flag. There always seems to be some sort of separation between the two flags, and so I was trying this burning method to create some sort of separation on this flag, and so that's what I'm doing. It's a freshly painted flag. It's wood. I'm trying the burning method, and from a distance on the camera here, this looks pretty good. But when I got done, the paint was a little bit bubbly. There was some soot all over the place, and honestly, I would not recommend this approach, or at least with this size torch, to anybody. It was just too much to clean up. I ended up painting the separating line, or and that would be the way I would go in the future for sure. If I do another one of these combination flags, is I'll paint the separation next time. So now I've got the white out and I'm doing a little bit of touch ups. But what I've done here is, my wife, she's pretty freaking awesome all around. And thankfully she's good looking too. So I've knocked it out of the park there. But she's got me some vinyl stencils that she's made out of the cricket. And I highly recommend that you figure that out when you're doing something that needs a pattern like this, because I used to try and do this with the plastic stencils that you get off of Amazon, And there's just no way that you can make patterns that look this good and do it in one shot without having the hassle of having to go back and touch up. So look at this. This is after just putting the vinyl stencil down and pulling up and no touch up. And that's all from the Cricut. So go get yourself a Cricut and figure it out. So here's the final go. There's our flag, and thank you for watching this week's Weaver Wood Shop. Don't forget to like and subscribe.